Right. So, and when you study the characteristics of fish that have fins and scales, they're basically, for the most part, they eat a healthy diet. They're not predators and they're not scavengers. The main staple of their diet. They eat plankton, which is microscopic organisms. They eat algae. They eat seaweed, and they eat other small microscopic organisms. So that's basically the main staple of their diet is small microscopic organisms, which is known as plankton, other marine plants, seaweed. So I have something here. It's from kosherquest.org, and I want the brother to read it concerning fins and scales because. Go ahead.
Salaki. All right, brothers. This is from the the website kosherquest.org. Okay. Fish which have fins and scales are kosher. Fish which only have fins are not kosher. Of the 4 types of scales, clinoid, cycloid, ganoid, or placoid, only clinoid and cycloid scales are valid according to the Torah. Gandoid is the type found on sturgeon, and placoid is found on shark. There is no prohibition against eating fish blood, other than the fact that people may think that a person is eating prohibited blood and ritual slaughter is not required.
But we know pursuant to Leviticus, the 3rd chapter, like we did in the 1st volume, that no, you can't eat blood because blood has toxic waste in it. Okay? We're just using this website as a reference to show you what scales are and what fins are.
Also, to add to what the brother's saying, you have to double check Amalek websites too, man. Sometimes they go off. When we go later on into this, when we talk about certain animals like the birds, which the brother's going to get into, they list duck. We know duck is not kosher. So you have to double check a lot of Amalek websites.
Right. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Leviticus chapter 11. Start at verse 10.
Hold on. So what are some of the types of fishes that have fins and scales? Salmon, trout, whiting. Those are just to name a few. Tuna, yes, tuna is a clean fish. You can eat tuna, okay? But the only thing is the way it's processed. Esau cans it and puts it inside and he uses poisonous salt to preserve it. But yes, fish. These are some of the few types of clean fishes. So with that being said, it's better that you get your fish that are wild caught as opposed to farm raised.
Right.
Because when the fish are farm raised, they're raised inside of basically small swimming pools where the fishes are not allowed to swim openly in the wild, and they basically have to live in their own feces and urine. That's what it means. That's what it means to be farm raised. Okay, and the fishes that are farm raised are also fed. They're also fed food that's not a natural part of their diet. They're fed soy. They're fed cornmeal. They're fed all types of abominable things that's contrary to their diet. They're even fed other fishes that are ground up and that die.
Exactly.
That die. Those fishes that die, they ground them up and feed it back to those same fishes. That's why it's better that you spend a few extra dollars and get the fish that are wild caught. Remember, it's your body, so whatever you put in your body, you're going to either reap the benefits or you're going to suffer the consequences. So don't look at the price so much. Think of the benefits that you're going to reap from it, okay? Another characteristic that I wanted to share with you about fishes that have fins and scales is that these fishes basically they live in the upper part of the ocean. They don't dwell near the bottom of the ocean floor. In other words, they swim in the upper part of the ocean where they're able to absorb more light and oxygen, thus that makes them more healthier. And also, they swim faster for longer periods of time. So by them swimming faster and swimming longer periods of time, that makes them leaner. And when the fish are leaner, they have less fat. So it's the same thing with people. When people exercise, you burn off fat and you have more muscle and you're leaner. So the same thing with animals that are more active. In this case, the fishes that swim near the upper part of the ocean, they're more active, so they have less fat. Go ahead.
Also, I want to add to this. I was speaking to the brother earlier, and he made an interesting point. He said it's good to stick to a basic diet that you were raised in, because a lot of Israel, we like to venture out and try new things. So dealing with the commandments and dealing with Leviticus, it's good to stick to what you know is kosher, as opposed to trying something different. Because you go to Moab, you go to their restaurant, they eat all types of abominable things. They eat whale. Scriptures don't tell us to eat whale. First of all, whale is not even a fish. A whale is a mammal. They eat snakes. They eat all types of things that you probably just throw up and puke, man. So the best thing to do is stay within the realm of what you know growing up as. And within that, you could also research and find out what's kosher from what's not kosher. Because a lot of us didn't know certain things were kosher, certain things weren't kosher. So when in doubt, it's always good to refer back to Leviticus chapter 11. And just keep it simple, brothers and sisters. Just because you take a sister out to a restaurant and this silly-ass woman wants you to order some scallops and some foolishness like that just to impress her, you don't need her, because she's ignorant. And you're supposed to be the man. You're supposed to teach her too and let her know that that's not right. You're going off by eating something like that.
Right.
All right? Okay. Leviticus chapter 11, verse 10. And all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you.
Right. The Most High said, any sea creature that doesn't have fins, both fins and scales, are an abomination. What is an abomination? Abomination is something that, a filthy, unclean act that the Most High hates. Okay? So if you're eating unclean sea creatures, the Most High said He hates that. Why? Because these unclean sea creatures are toxic. And what are the main abominable sea creatures that our people love to eat? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Shrimp, crabs, and lobsters. No, you can't eat shrimps, even though it has scales, even though I believe it has scales, but it doesn't have fins. You can't eat crabs, you can't eat lobsters, you can't eat catfish. These are some of the main, you can't eat clams,
Mussels.
mussels.
Let me put one in too, man. For the people down south, they eat what they call crawfish.
Yeah.
They're disgusting, man.
It's no good. That's cytochrome and Cajun
Right,
food.
but we're going to give you the scientific reasons why you can't eat these things. The reason why you can't eat these things because these animals are scavengers. They basically dwell at the bottom of the ocean floor, and their function or their purpose is to keep the ocean waters clean. And how do they keep the ocean water clean? By eating decomposing animals that die and fall to the bottom of the ocean floor. And do you know what else they eat? They eat fecal matter, doodle. They eat doodle from other animals that fall to the bottom of the ocean floor. That's how they keep it clean. That's how they keep the ocean waters clean. So that's why when you cook these animals like shrimp, crabs, and lobsters, that's why they stink. That's why they smell like doodle. Mm-hmm. Because they eat doodle, so that's what they're gonna smell like. Go ahead. Oh, and let me also say, when you eat these animals are highly toxic.
Right.
That's what makes them highly toxic, because of their diet, because they eat dead matter and they eat fecal matter. So by them eating these things, the toxins that they're ingesting from the dead animals and from the fecal and from the doodle or the fecal waste of the animals are being absorbed into these animals. So when you eat these animals, you're eating a toxic matter from the dead animals that the scavengers ate. Okay? So that's why when you eat things like shrimp, crabs, and lobsters, that's why it gives you high blood pressure, high cholesterol, arthritis, gout, because these animals are higher in cholesterol and they have a higher sodium content as opposed to the clean fishes that have fins and scales, because the clean fishes that have fins and scales, they're not scavengers and they're not decomposers, okay? Go ahead.
Verse 11, they shall be even an abomination unto you.
Right.
Ye shall not eat of their flesh.
Right. And also, what are some of the other fishes, sea creatures that don't have fins and scales, like shrimp, like shark? You can't eat shark. You can't eat dolphin. You can't eat squid. And you definitely can't eat these fishes. You definitely can't eat them raw, what they call sushi. You can't eat these animals. Why? Because on a scientific level, these animals are toxic. All predators are toxic because the main staple of their diet is meat. They don't eat vegetables. They don't eat seaweed. They don't eat plankton. So if you're eating predators, you're eating the toxic waste from other animals. Sharks and dolphins are predators, and they're also sharks are also scavengers. Okay, that's why the Most High doesn't want you eating animals that don't have fins and scales. Okay, this is something I want you to read right here so to give the people a better understanding. To finish that website right there, just this part right here.
This is the same website, kosherquest.org. The scales must be true scales that can be removed without damaging the skin of the fish, as it says in the Torah. These you may eat of the fishes of all that have fins and scales. Bony tubercles and plate or thorn-like scales that can be removed only by removing part of the skin are not considered scales in this context.
Right, so in other words, when you go to scale a fish, if you take the scale off and the skin comes off with the skin,
right,
that fish is unclean because the scale is supposed to be separate from the skin. Okay? That the skin is what helps the scale is what helps the fish. It makes it more, I was gonna say aerodynamic, but in the case of the fish living underwater, it makes it more hydrodynamic, meaning it allows it to smooth, it gives it less resistance against the water when it's swimming. It makes the fish able to move through the water a lot faster. That's the whole purpose of the scale.
Hold on, let me read this part right there, give them examples. Some fish that have such scales, such as eels, lumpfish, shark, sturgeon, and swordfish, are not kosher. You know?
Right, because like I said, scales help the fish navigate through the water. It makes them more. It allows them to swim faster. And in this case, these fishes or sea creatures that have scales are predators. So they have to be able to swim through the water fast to hunt and catch their prey. That's why they have scales. Go ahead.
All shellfish and mammals, such as whales and dolphins, are not kosher.
Right, because whales and dolphins, they have fins, but they don't have scales. Go ahead.
Only the eggs of kosher fish, such as fish roe or caviar, are allowed. Therefore, supervision is necessary. And let me say this about caviar. Originally, caviar comes from sturgeon. That fish is not kosher. So in essence, caviar is not kosher. But if you get caviar, which is basically fish eggs, from a kosher fish, then it's kosher. So you have to be more diligent in your research. What I would suggest in this day and age, most people have smartphones. When you're at the fish market, pull out your smartphone and Google kosher fish, and they give you a list of fish that's kosher. That's what I would suggest. In addition to asking and making inquiries about, you know, where the fish is from. Is it farm raised? Is it seawater, freshwater? Is it wild caught? And don't under any circumstances, this is just my opinion, but don't under any circumstances buy fish imported from China. Because you know the Chinese are notorious for cutting corners. They do all types of madness to their food, and they just don't give a damn. Moab don't give a damn about nothing. So I would not buy fish made from China, all right?
Not made, but
imported from China. It's
Slack, yeah, you know what I'm saying.